Okay, somebody is going to be really surprised, Virgo, uh, about how much you mean what you say, about how you choose your words very particularly, and what comes out of your mouth, you fucking remember. You not only remember the words, you remember the order of the words, you remember the rhythm of the sentence, and you remember the time of day, date, and place in which you said them. So people need to watch the fuck out if they are dealing with Virgo right now, because you have about 5 planets in your fifth house. Yes, your fifth house. 2 of them are still in Capricorn, including Pluto, and 3 of them, including Jupiter and Saturn and the fucking Sun, are now in Aquarius. So there's a lot of going on in your fifth house. And what is the fifth house? It's the fifth house of your heart, of your strength, of your courage, of your ideals, and what the fuck matters to you most. And guess where the moon is illuminating right now? In Leo. And Leo, whereas it's not in your fifth house right now, of course, Leo's not aligned with your fifth house right now, but Leo rules the fifth house. So people got a hell of a lot of craziness if they think anything that comes up right now from the past is actually gonna, in any way, shape, or form, influence or impact a commitment you made or a promise you made. You're either going to be the luckiest person in the world if you're dealing with Virgo, or you're going to be the unluckiest person in the world if you're dealing with Virgo. If you're trying to pull, if Virgo, if you have some people in your life that are trying to pull some passive aggressive shit right now, you about to roll out. You about to roll out the tape recorder and the date book and let them know exactly what it is, because your heart is invested right now. The moon is aligned with the south node. What you want, what matters to you, what's been mattering to you, what's mattered to you for a long time, since your childhood, from your past, what helped to create you, some situation that you've been working on, especially if it is a long-term love. People better watch out if there has been any kind, because you know where the rebelliousness is happening. It's in the eighth house, which is of seediness, of sensuality, of sexuality, of the occult, of basically the shadow side that people try to keep all kinds of shady and down low. That's where for you, that's where Mars and Uranus are for you right now. So ultimately, there could well be urges, inclinations that are just, they're popping the out, that are really challenging or exposing or forcing different parts of your heart space to grow. And essentially, you may be dealing with some really crazy news right now, is what I'm trying to say to you. You may have to have those kind of conversations with your man or your woman or your spouse or whatever that you have never wanted to have. And this could extend into parents, it could extend to children, about children. Why do I say this? Because it's about something that matters to you. It's not about some stupid crap when all those planets are in your fifth house. It's about stuff that basically is integral to the way that you understand who you are. So if some shit has come out, and I'm just gonna be metaphoric. I'm gonna be blunt, but I'm gonna be metaphoric. Say, for example, it just sudden. Mm, oh, I don't want to say. Okay, say for say for example, you have these desires, you have these urges, or your spouse has these desires or urges, and they just came out. It just came out and popped out to you that some shit is going on, or that they had, these needs that you never really realized, or stuff that you never really realized about yourself. And now it can't be suppressed anymore. This is challenging everything that you have set your mind to. It's seeing how committed you are to what you promised, or how devoted you are. And it could very well, in some cases, put enough pressure on you for you to realize something has to change. Right? But that does not mean, let me stress this again. Change is not the same as giving the fuck up. And if somebody tried to be passive aggressive with you and get out of some shit by being passive aggressive and be like, oh, I cheated, oh yeah, of course that breaks your heart. That makes you sick to your stomach. But simultaneously, it's like, you're going to have to do better than that if you want or to get out of this relationship with me. And by what I mean is, if I say, as a Virgo, if I say that I am in this for thick and thin, for better or worse, I am in this through thick and thin for better or worse. Whatever that comes up, even if a creepy crawls out of the 8th house, I'm going to deal with the shit. That's what I'm going to do. That's the kind of commitment Virgos have to basically everything that they give a shit about. So understand that you could betray me, rip apart my heart, but the bottom line is, if I have made you a promise, I am still committed to figuring out how we can make this work. If you want to leave me and break up with me, you are going to have to grow yourself a big old set of fucking balls, whether you're a male or female. You're going to have to get up the goddamn courage to actually say it straight. You're going to have to address me with the respect that I deserve and not try to go around beating around the bush, doing things behind my back, etc., etc. You're going to have to come out at me dead on, face first, and do not mince words. Don't do it. Like, seriously, if you have not confronted your Virgo straightforward, you're still in a relationship with them. Bottom line, they need to be... They sort of, it's a Virgo need to have things articulated to them, and that's the only way they're going to really feel respected, is if you have the balls to actually say, because they always say what they mean, right? I mean, they just come out with shit, whether it hurts people or not. Sagittarius are like this too, yes, but Sagittarius, it's just spontaneity off the top of their head. Virgos ain't no motherfucking spontaneity. They've thought about this shit and they know exactly what words that are coming out of their mouth. So understand that if you need to confront your Virgo about anything, or like, bottom line, you need to come out straight, because this is what's going to happen from Virgo's perspective. If you come at Virgos, and I'm saying this almost third person Virgo, because I'm like setting up the situation. If you come at Virgos with some passive aggressive shit, Virgos are going to talk you around and around and around, and you're going to stay exactly where you started out, which is with them, because they are not going to give up on you. And if you have in any way, shape, or form given up on your Virgo, then you damn well better say it straight, and you better explain why. Like, that's just the bottom line. And ultimately, Virgos, I really do believe that there are going to be conversations that are happening now, and it's not, you're not going to let it derail you from what you have decided, from a commitment that you have made, because it's a point of yours personal kind of not pride, but yeah, self-esteem. It's a point of your personal integrity that you make what you commit yourself to work. And ultimately, it may or may not be working. And that may be what the difficult aspect. Because right now, I do feel that there is ways to, like, look back. There's in other words, there's ways to make this work. And it's not, I know it sounds like it started out as a bad reading. It's not, because there's just this energy of whatever I found out, I'm not going to let it derail me. Whatever I found out, I'm going to take this and learn how I can, like, mix it into the fertilizer of the next couple of years. It's just how you're hardwired, and it's a very admirable trait. I mean, people can complain about a lot of shit about Virgos, but they really can't complain that they're inconsistent, because you're not. There's no inconsistency about you. Okay? And you stick to what you've decided. It's just, like I said, it's part of your integrity, but it's also part of what you need in your life. The continuity is everything. So ultimately, I'm going to have to say, this is the good part. I know everything comes out as bad first, but this is the good news. You're going to look back on this time of your life, and you're going to be extremely proud of the decisions that you made. You're going to be extremely proud of the people that you're aligning yourself with right now, because you figured it out. You learned who was going to stick around and who was not. And this is a good time to do it. This is a good time to really get a feel of where other people's, get a feel of where other people's hearts are, so that you know, and this is a good, let's put it this way. It's a good time to almost slow down right now, Virgo, go into slow motion and be really, really observant about people and the decisions that they make. And you are great at making observations. So ultimately, take your time. Take your time and decide and really, really inquire and look into how steadfast somebody is before you make any kind of commitment. And you will be very, very happy. You'll be very, very happy that you stood back and like took a breath and didn't do anything impulsively. Instead, you assessed the situation and figured out what are the possibilities here and which one actually works better for me. There is definitely assessment going on because it's so evident right now what really matters to your heart that it's like a trap. It's like a trap. Nothing's getting out of your line of view right now. You don't want to be alone. This is an energy that's crowning your reading. You don't want to be alone. Right? There's a sense of making a decision of who do I want to be with? You know, I am willing to be alone. Like that's why the Hermit represents Virgo, right? I am willing to be alone, but I'm really not. I don't want to be alone. Virgos love to be alone. Like they love to hermit in their home, surrounded by people that they really, really love. So this is like the exclusivity set of choosing wisely and spending time and taking that objectivity right now to say which is really the best thing for me. Maybe I have to spend a little more time alone, but ultimately I want to get all the information. I want to see very, very clearly. And I want to assess how people behave when they don't know they're being watched. There is some conflict here. I can't say that there's not when this card comes up. It's almost like you're getting ready and you're preparing for it. You see that there is something coming on the horizon. You've already identified it. So we can go into detail over in tarot. That link is below, exactly what those conflicts are. But I'll say for right now on the general reading, you know what these conflicts are in your personal life and you can see them on the horizon and you're trying to remain objective, right? Even though it's chilling you to the bone and it's hurting you, there's almost a numbness in you right now. You are choosing to remain objective and preparing yourself for the conflict ahead, but still looking for alternatives, different perspectives, and different ways out of the situation that don't involve an on fight. So damn, somebody must have charged you up nice and good. Seriously. Bear and Crossroads, this is basically like authority, the purpose of authority in terms of making decisions, really being proud of your decision-making process or taking the bull by the horns and deciding, making the decisions, especially where it concerns, well, first of all, I'm just going to say, if you're dealing with a man, you know exactly what this is, because this is definitely like finding out about something that's been going on for long term or finding out how good he is long term. Or if you are a man, this is like taking a sense of taking time to assess a situation before you make a decision to commit yourself to it. Because ultimately it's not a decision that you're going about lightly. This isn't sort of some lighthearted thing that you're going to turn back from. I also see communication is key here. This is Gemini energy, which is also Mercurial energy. This is more about listening instead of speaking, because out of the two Mercurial planets, there's you and there's Gemini. Geminis are the listeners, and Virgos are the speakers. People may not agree with that, but I do. That's why I said it. So there's conversation that's coming up. And this is what I think, because ultimately the way the cards fell is I could have read it as nothing's going to come out of this conversation. It's almost going to be like you're at a stalemate because somebody isn't ready to be honest with you. But I'm also taking it as after this conversation, nothing will have changed. Nothing is happening. Like even though it may be a big blow up or a big explosion, ultimately it's not going to derail you. Nothing will come of it, right? Nothing will come of it. But it could also mean nothing will come of this conversation. I will say this, if any of you out there are trying to get back with an ex because Mercury is going into retrograde, I will tell you this, nothing will come out of the situation. Your future is forward, not backward. But there could be some serious nostalgia coming up, and you think, oh, I got this. I got this person. I know I can change them. I know I can control them well enough to be able to get them back if I want to. You cannot. You cannot. Or have you ever seen that movie Practical Magic, where they resurrect that guy they accidentally killed? You are not going to like who you get back, because it's not going to be the same person or who you expect. I swear to God, all you get is zombies if you go in the past. Let that shit be buried. That's just a warning. Jade Mountain is, you do have a wonderful future ahead of you. There's so much beautiful prosperity and abundance, and there's change, and it's almost like anything you're going through now, any emotions that you're experiencing now, information that's coming out, and conversations that you're having are really ultimately just to show you that you have a lot to be proud of, and to become, it's almost like you're going to end up kind of self-assured that, wow, I really did make good decisions. I really was. For the first time, you're going to see that any of those exes that you were pondering or trying to make things work with, or long-term relationships that you've held on to for too long, all of those things, you're going to see, wow, I really made the best decision by walking away from them and choosing my happiness over whatever it is I said so long ago I would make work no matter what. Yeah. And I know it's coming out totally 360, but that's kind of how my readings are, FYI. If you like this reading so far, please do like it. And then share it on your social media platforms, because that really helps spread the word about the channel. I upload between 12 and 14 videos every single week. Your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, check them all out, and check out everybody else's too, because all 12 zodiac signs get a fresh video every single week. And if you click that bell and hit all notifications, you'll get notified when I upload all that content. There's always an extended. It runs, the link to it runs right below this video, except on cell phones, where you'll have to pop down that little drop box, and then you'll see it right there. There's the extended is a deep dive into the specific questions and answers that arise and are not completed in this video. And then you can also subscribe over there. And then you can get the extendeds about a day before they come out over here. You can also get access to the weekly astrological forecasts that I do every single week. Those are clearly time specific, but it really gives you a nice overview of the mentality of the week, and those are absolutely free over on Vimeo, so enjoy them. And then Instagram, I do live readings every single Monday through Friday, not every single day, but Monday through Friday on Instagram, so join me. And I post really unique, interesting content, including astrology motivation over on Instagram specifically. So join me, Born_without_boundaries. I would love to see you on one of our chats. Okay, let's move into the animal totems. So what I'm saying is, because this is what it is, I really do believe that if you are with somebody now, and you have had a hard time letting go of different aspects of your past, been fantasizing about them, you are going to turn around and realize how much better you ended off now. There's also a sense to me that ultimately you are not going to give up on a situation, even if you find out or figure out that something disappointing has happened. You are not in a position in your life right now to want to give up. You're just not. So in terms of matters of the heart, it's almost going to be a head over heart decision. It's almost going to be, but what makes the most sense? Because I know my heart, and I know what matters most to me. And it's like, everybody thinks, like, especially cheating, everybody thinks that cheating is the biggest thing ever. It's the worst thing. That no, not everybody agrees with that. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of people who work out their relationships after cheating has occurred. So there's a sense of, even if you think it's the worst case scenario, it's not. There's definitely a sense of, well, I mean, if it's a really extreme situation, that's not what I'm talking about. But any kind of disappointments that come up, any kind of struggles or challenges or news that you didn't want to hear about your loved one, or some shit that they're rolling in, You will be able to work this out. You will not give up at all. Let's look at what the animal totems have to say, because I definitely want more specifics. I asked the cards for more specifics. I actually drew some tarot cards for this reading because it was confusing to me. This is a love affair, a long-term love affair that you've been making work for quite some time. It also tells me that there's nostalgia here, trying to sort of like close out the past. So if you are in any way, shape, or form talking to an ex, or your man or woman is talking to an ex, nothing's gonna come from it. That's what I guess what I'm trying to say is, it may piss you off, it may anger you, but it's nothing's gonna come of that situation. It's gonna stop. So that's good news. And that's why you can be happy, because Seasons of the Heart and Jade Mountain are, you know what, you made a damn good choice. Maybe somebody had a temptation, but they didn't succumb to, because you made a good choice and you chose the right fucking person. But that's damn good news, right? Here we have Seasons of the Heart, which is things change. Things come up. Life goes on. Ultimately, give yourself over to these seasons. It's also telling me about summer into fall. This is going to pop off. Also, Jade Mountain is you've worked really hard on something. You've built something, you know, and it's not for anything. You're going to see that the effort that you put in, Virgo, you're getting back out at a time when you need to see it most. So that's the good news. Surrender now. Let's just give over. It's almost like let go and let God. And it's difficult for you, but what it is, what you have to know is this energy is coming after you've done a lot of hard work. So it's not just, hey, let Jesus take the wheel. It's you've built the car. You know what I'm saying? You designed it, you've built it, you've checked it, you've tested it. And now, yes, it's okay for you to let somebody else drive it. I know people who out there who love cars were just like, nobody's driving my motherfucking car. No, okay. It was just a metaphor. Like, calm down. You don't have to let nobody drive your car. It's going to be okay. I'm just saying that it's not that you're just sort of like flinging it out there to the universe. You've done all the work. Like I said, you worked really hard. Say this is relationship shit, right? You've worked really hard in this relationship. You haven't given up on each other for this long. And now all of a sudden this bump in the road comes along. It's not going to derail you. It's not. It's not, because you're actually committed to what you say you're committed to. And for a while now, you may have to just take a distance, be objective, take some space. You may be literally asking somebody for space, but it is not going to come, like there's nothing's going to come out of it except resolution. And then we have, use your mind wisely. What's this whole conversation been about? About you letting your mind take over because your heart is under so much, I don't want to say duress, but there's so much going on in your heart right now that it's actually going to be really tranquil if your mind can take over for a little while. This is also when pigs fly. So come hell or high water, you're going to make the impossible happen. Sing your own song. Compose your own life. Don't let anybody else write your script for you. Don't let anybody else decide what's going to happen. You decide what's going to happen. That's it. This is also freedom. You know, a reason to sing. A reason to be happy. And also telling the truth. Sing your own song is letting out your song. Not worried about, it's not just freedom of let the canaries free, right? It's free as in freedom of expression. Finally being able to liberate yourself from... liberate yourself creatively or expressively, finally being able to say what you need to say. And then we have life is a mystery. Be prepared for variables. When this card comes up, that's all I've got to say. You have to be prepared for variables. Write your equation now with a lot of X's and Y's, because there are going to be variables, but you can, just like equations, you can plan for the placement of the variables. You can also plan for how the variables are going to affect the constants. So that's basically what you're doing right now. You're constructing variables because you can see that something's coming up. In order to put the fire out, you've got to start writing the equations now to include variables. So what are these variables going to do? Because life is a mystery. I'm going to dive into that with tarot. Like, that's the first question I'm going to ask. What the fuck are these variables going to be, so that you can prepare yourself? Let's go into your angel messages, Virgo. compassion. Okay, but listen, when you show greater compassion toward yourself, the universe automatically responds by showering you with greater blessings. So this could be a site of like self-forgiveness and not being too hard on you, but also not. So keep that in mind. Faith. Do not lose faith. The storm clouds will soon clear and the sun will shine once more. Compassion and faith, you can feel it building. You can already feel the themes. There's a need for forgiveness and redemption here. There's a theme repeating over and over in your reading. Prayer. No matter how difficult the situation may seem, all is possible. Ask. We are listening. And this is what I'm talking about. Once you've gotten to the point, Virgo, when you've done all you can do, that's when you say, I need you to step in, angels. I need you to step in, universe. I need you to step in, God. You take it from here. The variables. Archangel Gabriel. You will soon receive some positive news. The channels for clear and honest communication are now open. Keep an open heart and speak your truth lovingly without fear. And with that, let's go get our questions answered. The link is below. I'll see you guys in the extended.